warm up first as well. So starting off to warm up, let's just all go ahead and assess our body position. So if you're standing, checking in that you have a nice stable base and you're up nice and tall here. So almost like somebody has one of your hairs. They're pulling you up a little bit taller. And then if you were to check in with your spine, just go ahead and make sure that you don't have a giant bend in your lower back or a giant bend in your upper back. Let me move my arms out of the way so you can actually see. So if I'm just really relaxing, I might kind of look like this, or I might kind of look like that, but I'm going to actually stand up really, really nice and tall. And then I am going to windmill my arms. So by that, I mean doing a little bit of twisting, starting slow, working into it. Left arm forward, right arm back. And then left arm down, right arm up, right arm forward, left arm back, and then just continue trying to maximize the stretch as we go through. So right now I'm sort of doing a little bit of a front stroke kind of a situation here. And I'm getting some rotation. You can see that I'm engaging my core to keep my belly button in and keep my spine nice and long and supported. But I'm getting some twisting in at the same time, helps to lubricate some of the joints as you move them. Let's reverse direction, do a little backstroke kind of action here. Check in with your breathing, making sure that that is happening as well. Beautiful. All right, so now keeping our posture nice and long and tall, we're going to keep with the warm up here and do some arm circles. Now I get kind of tight in my forearms, so it's fun for me to really have my hands at as much of a 90-degree angle as possible. That feels nice to me, but you could have your hands in any position here that makes you happy, right? I'm going to make sure that even though my hands are up high, my shoulders stay low. So I'm not sort of getting these like shoulder earrings that happen sometimes. The shoulders are staying low. And I'm also going to make sure that the hands are not slowly drifting forward. I'm going to keep them back in a straight line. So if you were to draw a line from my left arm through my chest to my right arm, it would just be all one straight line. Beautiful. Let's reverse direction here. Getting a little lovely warmth in the shoulders. Getting the blood flowing. Lovely. Take a little mini rest for your shoulders and shake it out. And then what we're going to do is similar to a wall angel, but you do not need a wall if you know what a wall angel is, or sort of like a standing snow angel also. So again, I'm going to check in with my body position, make sure that nothing has relaxed back into that sort of like slouchy or lower back, excessive arch kind of position. I'm going to flatten my lower back onto the imaginary wall. So that adjustment sort of looks like that. Flatten that lower back onto the imaginary wall, and then draw my shoulders back in space so that those are on the imaginary wall. Back of the head back in space, so that's on the imaginary wall. And then my arms are going to be in this sort of like, I'm mildly excited to give you a hug position. And my elbows are going to be back on the imaginary wall and my hands. So keeping as much on that wall as possible. Then bringing your hands up to a T position or your body into a T position here. And flattening everything back on that wall. This reset is where the magic happens. So checking in with your lower back, your shoulders, your elbows, your hands, and the back of your head, drawing it all back onto the wall. Now we've got Y from the YMCA, drawing everything back onto that wall. And then I'm very excited to give you a hug position. Arms straight up, everything back on that wall. And from here, you're going to sort of snow angel your arms, but checking in at each of those checkpoints to make sure that you're staying back on that imaginary wall, doing those little adjustments at your own pace here. So continuing, snow angeling those arms, periodically checking in. I know the Y from the YMCA position, this one right here, from about here to there, that is the most difficult for me. So I spend a lot of time and attention here trying to adjust myself and bring myself back onto that imaginary wall. Now, when it gets hard and tense, you might notice yourself having a harder time breathing. So here, I tend to take the most shallow breaths, and that's why I focus on the breathing the most there. So really drawing the hands back in space and the shoulders back in space, opening up the chest, a nice deep inhale, but still keeping that lower back flattened on the wall. Beautiful. Everybody go ahead and bring your arms down. Take a few shoulder rolls to relax any tension that's stuck into your shoulders from that. And we're going to actually put hands on hips next. So for this one, I'm going to be inhaling my elbows back and doing a little bit of arching through my lower back, my mid back, and drawing the back of my head back in space. Don't want to push too much into my lower back, but just getting a little bit of movement here. And then I'm going to bring my elbows forward as much as possible and round through my back. Hopefully I'm showing this okay. Hopefully you guys can see. Elbows back in space, arching through my back, pushing the back of my head back, and then elbows forward in space and rounding, tucking my pelvis, tucking my chin. Back and forth. Inhaling as you open the front of your body and exhaling as you close. Taking this opportunity to slow down your breath a little bit if it feels good. So really nice, big, open, really nice, deep breath. Seeing if you can make it maybe a 4 count or 3 or 5, whatever feels good to you. Lovely. Hopefully that feels nice on your shoulders after we warm them up. And then we're going to take our hands and we're going to just adjust our position. So still keeping elbows out to the side. I'm going to put my hands sort of in high ponytail position, if you can see where that would be. High ponytail position. So not super top of my head, not around the back of my head, but in that middle position here. And then from here, I am going to similarly inhale, elbows back, open up through the front of my body. If it feels good to reach your chin up towards the ceiling a little bit, go for it. And then exhale and round. Drop your chin down towards the floor. Don't wrench on your neck, but allow your hands to provide a little gentle weight if it feels good. And then back and forth, coordinating with your breath. So I'm exhaling 2, 3, 4. And inhaling 2, 3, 4. Taking this moment to just connect with your body, observe and respect the signals that you're getting from it. Lovely. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring the hands to the top of the head. And we're just going to bring the right elbow as low as you possibly can and the left elbow as high as you possibly can from here. Getting a nice little side bend. Imagining that you have that imaginary wall again and the elbows are staying back on the wall. And switching sides. So dropping my left elbow down as low as I can and my right elbow up as high as I can. And coming right back up to center. All right, so now I'm going to actually reach my arms up overhead, get a little lower so you guys can see here. This one, it may be nice for you to spread your feet a little bit wider apart so you have a nice solid base. And I'm going to hold onto my right wrist with my left hand, and I'm going to tip over. Tipping over as far as it feels good for me, staying back on that imaginary wall, particularly with my right armpit or the top armpit if you've gone and done the other arm first. Beautiful. Come back up to center. And I'm going to hold onto my left wrist with my right hand and go ahead and do the other side. Using my right arm to pull my left arm into the stretch just a little bit more. Provides a really glorious stretch down your side into that armpit. It's fantastic. Breathe into the stretch and come on out. Beautiful. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of neck stretches. Sometimes our busyness throughout the day can get held in our body and we feel some tension in our neck and our shoulders. So I'm going to drop my left ear to my left shoulder and I'm going to reach away with my right arm. The reaching away will intensify the stretch, so if you want to leave that off, you absolutely can. Just relaxing that left ear to the left shoulder, adding the reach as needed or enjoyed. From here, I could play with a stretch. So just seeing what would feel good. Now, a lot of times I'll move the head when we're doing this playing part, and I'll say, okay, draw your head back in space or forward, tilt your nose down. You can do all of that, but you can also play with what your arm does. So if you've chosen to reach away with your arm, I'm going to keep my left ear relaxed towards my left shoulder, and I'm going to continue reaching away with my arm, but I'm going to play with the height that I'm reaching away at. So maybe I'm reaching for the wall. Maybe I'm reaching for the floor. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit down and forward, sort of at a diagonal from my body. Or maybe I'm reaching a little bit down and back. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that changes the angle of the stretch, gets you some delicious new options here. So that reaching away really allows us to have some more choices, some more opportunities to be mindful and gift our body movement. Beautiful. Come back up to center and we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm going to relax my right ear down to my right shoulder. I'm going to enjoy this for just a moment and reach away if it feels good. Just spending a little bit of time noticing where I'm at today. Excellent. And now I'm playing with this stretch. So either playing with the position of the head or the angle through the neck, or gently reaching forward, reaching a little bit further down, out a little further, or back a little further. Take a moment not only to notice what feels awesome, what feels completely foreign, what feels like maybe you should stop, and of course, respecting all of those cues. Also tap into how this side feels differently than the other side. You know, if you're right-handed or left-handed, that can have ripple effects throughout your body, make us all a little bit lopsided. Beautiful. Come back up. We're just going to do a little bit of twisting through the neck. So just bringing my chin towards my left shoulder and then towards my right shoulder. Working into this range of motion. Because most of my day, my head is just staring straight forward. It's not very often that I really turn my head all the way either direction. Beautiful. The last thing we're doing is taking a little moment for our hands. So go ahead, start with your fingers and press them together. Now you'll notice my hands are a little bit lower. That's where I'm able to feel the stretch, and I feel stretch throughout my fingers, the inside of my fingers, throughout my palm, and even down into my wrist when I do it this way. But you could always take the pressure off the stretch by starting with your entire finger together and starting at that knuckle between your palm and your fingertips, and then adjusting the angle of the arm, or having your palms together and then playing with the angles. Maybe I tip my fingers out more, in towards myself more. Maybe I work on one hand more or the other. Just taking a moment to play and let my hands do something different other than typing or using a mouse, holding a fork, something different at a completely different angle. And then a nice counter stretch is to make some fists with your hands and then draw some nice big circles with your fists, both directions. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hope you have a fabulous afternoon and a lovely short week and a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate.